Okay.
Might be one of those nights.
What do you mean?
Nobody shows. This might just maybe you and I, just you and me, hanging out, having a chat. I got coffee. I got this new tea. Can't wait to try. I got two new teas.
What type of tea is this?
I got a coconut chai.
That sounds pretty good.
I'm gonna make it after this, whatever this is, whatever we do here. This art installation piece that we do weekly. Bro, I used to listen to Erasure. What are you talking about?
It's not erasure unless you're actually not talking about the thing. We are talking about the thing. We're just ignoring you. This is safe erasure.
Yeah.
But is it really if we actually mention you?
It's not. Always I want to be with you. Oh God, Gamerscape's hosting us. You know it's gonna go downhill. That's it. That's it. It's the sign. It's the end times. Wow, rude. I say if we can't have you on tonight to talk Balmung. It's not. We didn't plan for it. It's not in the cards. It's not that important of news, honestly. To be honest, I'll get on it on the show, but it's cool that it's open, but it's not that big of news. If you've played multiple MMOs like I have and Shin has, it's not that big of news. For you, it's like, yay, new people. For us, it's like, that happens.
Sometimes things open, sometimes things close.
It takes a very specific mindset to be able to have safe guests. I guess that still goes with sometimes things open, sometimes things close.
All right, I think we're about as ready as we're gonna get.
Yeah, we should get the show going.
That's how your Friday's going.
All right, cool. He understands.
This show The show brought to you by water.
What? just water. Just water.
Safe. I don't think it would be safe to bring you on for the next episode.
Actually,
so we need to keep it down to like an hour.
Yeah, episode 69 is all about safe sex, and unfortunately, you can't be here for that one. All the stuff they teach you, like it's just we're gonna have bananas and condoms, and you're teaching. We're gonna be off Twitch. I can't. All right, let's start the show.
Please. You're pulling focus, by the way.
Today is Friday, February 16th, 2018. This is episode 58. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's try that again. Today is Friday, February 16th, 2018. This is episode 68 of Maelstrom Radio.
Maelstrom Radio. With your hosts, Cutest and Shinder.
And welcome everybody to Maelstrom Radio. My name is Flatus. With me, as always, this host. I got nothing.
Barely got out the tweet in time.
Oh, this host almost didn't make it. Shit.
It's a little premature.
That's next week. Anyway.
Damn it, I'm early again. Not even a minute in. Have I broke you this early?
It's gonna be one of those nights. I'm not even drinking a night at the moment. At the moment, it's known as the keyword "at the moment."
I already mentioned this in the pre-show, but tonight is brought to you by water because that's all I have on hand right now.
I have this delicious cup of coffee. I know.
Personally, I'd rather your tea.
That it's also happening after show. Anyway, hey, welcome to Maelstrom Radio. Welcome to Tea Time with Shin and Flatus. Can we start that podcast?
Don't give away next week's spoilers.
Next week's spoilers with you and I just sit back and sip tea and just discuss tea. Today on Tea Chat, we're discussing the finer points of Rubio's. Nobody'll show up for that. Or we'll get a shit ton more people. Like all of a sudden, like have 800 people watching us. Anyway, let's jump into news.
Yeah, we might need to bring in some of the British.
Oh, Para, you're on for next. I don't even know if Para drinks tea. Para, you better have a tea expert on that. Para, you better be a tea expert. World population balancing. Speaking of worldly people.
Speaking of being unbalanced.
World population balancing. So if you didn't know, if you weren't around on this day, based on our analysis, according to Yoshi P, based on our analysis, login numbers and plot sales across all worlds and weeks following the release of 4.2 have been decided to implement the following changes during the next scheduled maintenance. Restrictions on all currently designated congested worlds would be lifted. New preferred worlds would be designated. The moratorium on plot sales to individuals be lifted. So that means Balmung will be opening. And for a lot of people, that's big news. For Shin and I, that's like, all right, that's cool. We'll make alts.
It'll be a Lalafell.
It'll be something. It'll be something.
Are you gonna bring Gunt? Gunt goes to Balmung.
Gut Thunderbungs does get Balmung might be the best YouTube video we could ever make. We may need to
that's a whole new series right there.
Mm-hmm.
And Thunderbuns does Balmung.
Just Gut Thunderbun does, and just we make him across
Just
all
does.
the servers. It just does. Does crafting. Does everything
Just
terrible.
does.
Just does. Just dies. Anyway. So if you're a Balmung player, you may see us. We might change our names, and then you have to come find us. And Twitch is crashing for safe.
On much more exciting news. Sorry, this is the part that I was really excited for. The Orison Symphony is coming to LA and Dortmund, Germany. For those who don't know, LA is in the United States. I didn't think I'd have to mention that for most of our viewers, but who knows? June 15th and 16th in the States, August 24th and 25th in Germany. Early ticket sales will be on sale as of tomorrow, February 17th. Public ticket sales will go on a bit later, February 26th. I really want to go to this.
It's right around my birthday. My birthday is June 18th.
I now live really, really close to where they're hosting this. And fun fact, it's in the Dolby Theater, which is where, the Grammys are held? I don't know. It's somewhere like right in the heart of Hollywood Awards. That looks like it's going to be crazy busy.
The Academy Awards. It'll be packed.
Academy Awards, that one.
It'll be packed. It'll
gonna be worth it.
It'll be great. I mean, I have the 15th off from work because my company now chooses a random holiday from other cultures, and we celebrate that every year. So this year it's Ramadan. So I technically.
Is that all the way in June now? Or this year, rather?
This year it's June 15th, and my birthday's on the 18th, and my company gives me like a 8-hour birthday PT top of it, so I have my birthday.
Nice.
My birthday's a holiday. I'm like, yay! Finally, somebody recognizes my birthday. It's important. new optional. Speaking of important, new optional items.
Speaking of birthdays.
Yeah. If it's your birthday, congratulations. Butler Made outfits are now available. So if you didn't get them in one of the 2 Amazon events or whatever in the EU they made you do, like take nude photos and send them into a magazine or whatever the hell they made you do over there, then don't start happy birthday flattest. I know a certain person that'll have a field day with that. Anyway, so if you haven't gotten your Butler Made outfit, just go buy it. It's $18. It's fair if you weren't a part of the event. It's like a fair price for it, I think.
And just in case you weren't aware, I would like to wish a happy birthday to Akmorn.
Happy birthday, Akmorn. Also,
always good to shout out people on their birthdays.
Yeah. Also, happy belated Valentine's Day. If coming from Eorze's 2 most eligible matchups.
We weren't quite a perfect match in game, but we were close.
I mean, for our first year was like, we're going to make money. This year was like, you're not making money.
No.
Yeah, no money making this year. And 4.21 patch notes are out. There's not super anything big in there right now. Let's see. Delta Scapel Savage will receive the Echo, and there's a bunch of issues resolved.
Basically, a lot of the diamond weapons, the new weapons, were off by damage numbers by 1, so they just fixed it.
Yeah, that's it.
Nothing too crazy. The really interesting one will be in a couple more weeks from now when we get patched 4.25, which, as we'll discuss later, we're getting Eureka.
Yo. Community news. So there's going to be, speaking of Balmung, there's going to be a Blitzball tournament on Balmung. And the opening ceremonies happen on February 23rd at 8 p.m., 10:30 p.m. I believe that is Eastern Standard Time, 7:30 Pacific Standard Time, and then 1 a.m. to 3:30 a.m. UTC. So if you're on Balmung, you might want to go check that out. Also, Maelstrom Radio is the official sponsor of the Limsa Lominsa Buccaneers, the all-female team.
Go Limsa!
Yeah, so we are officially sponsoring the Limsa Lominsa Buccaneers. That's official. The Maelstrom Radio symbol will be on their butt, on the right cheek. as per designed and signed per
So
our
both of them?
contract. Yes, M on the left, R on the right.
Yep, that sounds appropriate.
And so, you know, we like, who else would sponsor the all female team but us? The two assholes with mics. I mean, to be fair, I was approached. I was approached by the team to say, "Hey, would you like to sponsor us?" Now, to be fair, I was also approached by another team, but they were rich, and I was like, "No, no, 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 no." I was like, "What do you guys offer?" Like, we're all female. I was like, "Well, money or women?" I was like, "Well."
And I found out about this when I read the show notes today. So
Shout out to Dylan and the rest of the team over there. Oh, I'm sorry. The owner of the other team is here. Says "F you" to me in chat. I'm sorry, Para. Para's like a '80s bad guy. Like, he owns the mountain, like the ski. Like there's gonna be at some point the Buccaneers are gonna have a montage of them working out, trying to get better for Blitzball.
you have to have a montage, specifically a training montage. Without that, you're not a real team.
Yeah, and Para's not working out and working at all. Like, Para's in the hot tub, smoking a cigarette, drinking beer, partying. But then the Buccaneers are like doing a car wash.
I was gonna say, do they have a hot tub as well? Because I'd rather like chill in a hot tub with a beer.
With the Buccaneers?
Probably, yeah.
All right. See if I can make that happen. We'll have to roll characters in Belmont.
Utah is just a little bit too dusty.
Gets dry in that desert. a lot of moisturizer.
Something dry bone.
Speaking of dry, let's talk about the story of 4.2. What happened? We started talking about the arid wastelands. Things went south real quick.
And then we got to Old
Yeah, then we got to Old Oz. Speaking of... Anyway, let's
4.2.
4.2.
Main story.
Yeah.
Main storyline quest.
I can't name the episode Dry Boner. Can't do it.
No, that's not appropriate.
I will not fly on iTunes. MSQ. So Shin, we went through the MSQ, and we met a lot of things happened. So let's go first. Like, what's the biggest thing that stood out to you in the MSQ?
I really found this one, and we mentioned this last week or a couple weeks ago. I found this patch kind of underwhelming overall. We didn't really get a lot of story progression. We got a lot of setup, I found. And I think what they're going to bring is going to be more interesting than what they've brought so far. Like, out of all of it, I really thought that like the way that they brought in the new character and had him kind of interact with everything was kind of interesting. Really not a fan of him since the beginning. He looked really, really sketchy, and then we were proven right later on. So that's always a thing.
Okay, I hated his haircut.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was actually. Just like, you look like you're gonna be up to something, and then he acted so nice, and I'm like, by the time that like the quest was just about done, I'm like, all right, I might be willing to give you a chance, and then he went completely 100% crazy.
Yeah,
like, well,
don't trust a fucker with a bowl cut coming in there and be like, let's talk peace. Nobody with a bowl cut wants peace.
Just angry at the world.
I want to apologize to all of our listeners with bowl cuts. Yeah.
I kind of want to see him and Fordola go for it. Like, go at it.
Oh,
mostly because I don't think he can fight. And
oh, that's what you meant. I was like, listen, that's his stepsister. What are you talking about?
No, that's Jitsuyu.
Oh, for Dola. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
For
Yeah.
Dola.
Oh, sorry. I got confused for a second. It's the bowl cut. He looks like he'd hit on it. So like
Fordola doesn't have a bowl cut.
I know, but no, not him. The other guy, whatever his fucking name is. What the hell's his name? Was it?
I was avoiding it because
Brutus. Brutus. It's Brutus. Brutus something. It's Brutus. Tell me, chat. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me it's not Brutus. Watch him be not Brutus. I'm banking on Brutus so hard right now. It's Brutus, and I don't know. He seems like, come on. He was the whole time. He's like, I want to see my sister. Where's my sister? Let me get with my sister. I'm like, bro, I know that. I've seen that movie. It doesn't end well. You won't believe it's not Brutus. See, look. Asahi Sass Brutus. Yeah, Acai Bowl. Little Broody. I'm just gonna call Little Broody. A little brute ass bowl cut. We don't like him. Can you tell we don't like him? I don't like. I agree. He perfectly written as a character, right? Like we're not supposed to like him. Well written. The voice actor sold it. Like the voice actor sold like the at the point when he was being kind to one of the Domans. Like you knew he was up to something.
In that respect, like I think he was kind of a slightly better written character than what's his face, Xenos, because we were supposed to hate Xenos with a passion, and everyone just ended up not hating him.
Everybody who has dad, like I want my thick daddy. More on that later.
I thought that was more Byako.
We'll get on that too, I guess. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. I think he's a better written villain. Like not that Xenos was a poorly written villain, but the amount of people who love Xenos, like he's bad, but I can fix him. Like that's what the type of like you can get. Like I can fix him. He's got some issues, but it's fine. I'll deal with.
He wasn't he was more relatable. Like not in everything he absolutely does is terrible. Like it's kind of like they did with Yotsuyu. Like they made her relatable. They made you feel sorry for her. Same with Fordola. They made you feel sorry for her, and now we're getting arcs with both of them for better or worse. And Xenos kind of has similar, and then with his violent and very swift death, I'm going to leave that point for later, but they killed him off, and like they really didn't do a lot with the character. Like he was supposed to be the big bad thing that everyone hated, and I'm pretty sure that more people hate Asai than Xenos at this point.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like the sentiment across Twitter and in the interwebs was very much this guy's an asshole, and I hate his haircut. Like,
also, his eyes.
Oh yeah, he's got.
Like when he's talking all normally, it's all normal, but then he goes into like the crazy psycho mode.
Yeah.
And like, yeah.
He looks like a literal dick. Like he looks like an actual dick.
Bowl cuts.
Yeah. Episode 58, bowl cuts.
Chili, you take that back.
I hate Alpha Node more. Well, I don't know. I don't hate Alpha Node. After I found out Alpha Node's been learning how to swim, I love Alpha Node even more. If they turn Alpha Node into the comic relief, like he's great because he's smart and he can help people, but also he's also like, we're gonna buy this sword. Do you not know how, like, motherfucker, you're in charge of the goddamn money?
Yeah, I was really, really confused with that whole thing. And I know, like, we talked about this at one point. Alphino goes and drops so much money on this sword. It doesn't even know how much money this is and just goes and does. Wasn't it only just last patch, which I don't know how many in-game days it goes ago, that they found all of this lovely treasure down below and for Alamigo, and their first thought was, hey, let's get Alphino to do it because he's smart. He can handle the money and figure out how to like allocate all this stuff. And then we get into the next one, and he just blows all of the money on this. Again, we recuperate, and Tataru was fine with because we find a ton of money, but
bad.
It seems kind of a bad plot point there.
Alphino is a spoiled rich kid. I don't think he's a spoiled rich kid. he has big shoes to fill, given what his heritage. Sometimes he just wants to look like a pimp. I know, and then sometimes he's gonna Michael Phelps himself into the water. That was the best. He's like, hey, sister, I've been learning how to swim, and I thought he was gonna go do like a perfect like swan dive right into the water. Nope. We get a yahoo! He just belly flops into the water.
Yeah, in chat there, like I agree. Alfie used to be very, very whiny. He used to be like the spoiled brat type person, but I think he definitely changed a lot more, especially in Heaven's Word and now in Stormblood. Well, less in Stormblood, more in Heaven's Word. He kind of matured a little bit more and is a much better character than he originally was. And then we've seen at the end of Heaven's Word and all through Stormblood, Alisaie finally getting her turn as well. And like between the two of them, like they are my favorite Scions by far.
Yeah, they balance each other out as characters for sure. Like they as twins, they are very like
You can't beat her sass.
Yeah, very sassy. He's very like, but as a brother and sister twin combo, I mean, it works really well. So we could step up to Gosetsu and what's going on. I still fear for
you.
Man, I still fear for Gosetsu. I don't think that character is gonna last. I think that he's gonna die before the end of this expansion.
I could see them doing that. Like they already half killed him once, so there is that whole thing. I don't know. I kind of wish that they wouldn't kill him off, but at the same time, I can understand them killing him off. Like that's probably my biggest gripe with this whole patch and this post-expansion series so far is that they've gone off and they killed a whole bunch of characters during Stormblood itself. We had what's his face, the leader of the Alamecan resistance. He died and Lise took over, and then we had what's his name? Gosetsu died. We had Yotsuyu die. We had Xenos die, and then we come back to this patch and like everyone's alive again.
Retcon the patch.
Like Square has done this in the past where they're like, oh, everyone's dead. Oh no, by the way, they're not all dead. And I find it kind of a terrible storytelling mechanic that you just kind of kill off everybody and then bring them back shortly afterwards. And I understand, like especially with Gosetsu and Yotsuyu, like, we knew both of them were coming back. That was built into Stormblood itself. Kind of a little bit upset about it as well, like that they did bring them back, because I think they had a really interesting the way that they died was really interesting. Now I'm holding judgment on that one because we knew that they were coming back. We've seen them come back now. I'm hoping that they bring them back with some more interesting story, so that there was a very strong reason for bringing them back. But I'm really, really confused with the whole Xenos thing. And I know there's a few people that have this theory that it's not actually Xenos, it's something else that resembles him or looks like him. Could be a clone, could be something, who knows, with Garlemald technology. But with that whole difference, it's just they're bringing people back again and again and again. And yes, it brings precedent for other things that they could bring back, but why? What's the point? It kind of cheapens the original deaths. And especially with Xenos' death, like, yes, they didn't do a lot with that character, but there was a lot of like strong storytelling at that point where we go up, we fight him, we defeat Shinru, we kill him, or rather he decides to take his own life before everything. And then after that's all said and done, they're just like, oh no, by the way, he's alive.
Yeah, it's for me, I really do believe that like the idea behind Gosetsu dying, like and I mean that with the quotation marks around it, like dying, was that it built something, but they foreshadowed like we couldn't find the body. Like it was very foreshadowed early on, like right then and there, like, well, he couldn't find the body, it could have probably been swept out, probably dead. But it leads you to believe like maybe he didn't die, like maybe there is some, like, all right, so they're kind of building it up. But the idea that Yotsuyu is, or what do they call her now? Tsuyu. Now
it's very different from Yotsuyu.
Yeah, so like she's gonna have this conflicting like who am I situation, and she may flip Like the switch may flip in 4.3 when we get more MSQ.
That would be really, really entertaining because then she'd be evil again. And then if she wants to keep being evil, we can take her down.
But if she realizes this whole time, like, what the hell's going down? Like, all right, and I'm just going to act, and all of a sudden, like, whoosh, Gosetsu, like, right in the back, like, all of a sudden, and then he's dead. Then his death, it, like, he's the one that's, like, give her a chance, you know, how could you kill somebody that doesn't know that they've sinned? This whole thing, like, God. And Chili. I know some people in chat's like, it's just bad story mechanics, but I don't think it is. Like, granted, yes, like when you look at or like a Realm Reborn and Nanamo, absolutely agree. That is bad. That is a bad storytelling mechanic. In this sense, I don't think it is, because I think it was foreshadowed that they weren't dead. I think the idea of the amnesia and the thought of, is someone truly evil if they don't know they've been evil, is a thing. And the conflict within her, like, she may be trying to remember who she is, and maybe she can make the choice, like, do I really want to continue being this person I was, or do I have a chance to be free and live, you know, a life of different and try to make things turn around, or, you know, flip out, keep secret, and then all of a sudden stab Gosetsu right in the back after he, and then letting, like, at the very end, like, you know, or she'll try to attempt to kill Hien, and then Gosetsu will get in the way, like, do his last thing to save Hien and die.
Anything that lets us go and attack and kill Yotsuyu would probably be fine.
Which may happen. Like, that may actually be what's going on, because they very much focused on, like, Gosetsu's death and how he didn't die, and like even that was a failure for him, and like he's still on this big, like, failure tour. Like, I'm still failing as this person. I haven't succeeded yet.
And he even fails at dying.
Yeah, he even failed at dying. Like, that's, like, myself and Anonymous had discussed this, like, the failure of, like, he's the classic failure samurai that, like, until he's actually, like, done something where he's not failed, that's when he'll die. And I'm pretty sure that's what they're building him up to be, is like a classic samurai, like, movie type story where we'll love him throughout the whole story, and at the very end, he'll do something heroic and redeem himself. Then goodbye Gosetsu. And it's gonna suck, because a lot of people are gonna be like, all right, they brought him back, and he's a favorite amongst a lot of people, and I think he's great. I think he's a great character, but I do believe he's not going to last. I really don't think
he's going to be the next Moon Burrito. They're going to kill him off in 3.4 or 4.4.
He is. They're going to Moon Burrito, because Moon Burrito was like, yeah, everybody likes Moon Burrito, and Moon Burrito dipped just like that. And I really think they're going to, but this time it's like a longer, like a slower burn on the inevitable. So, because I think not killing him, it will be an injustice to how I think they're writing. Now, how other people see his story arc and how I see it are very two different things. But I'm glad I'm not the only person who doesn't see it, because if you know Anonymous, name drops, like, that matters. But anyway, I mean,
sorry, go ahead.
He's a lore guy. He knows, like, but he agrees with me. Like, I'm a fan of samurai movies, so, like, it's very, very, like, that's what you can tell. Like, if you're a fan of, like, Lone Wolf and Cub or any of, like, old school samurai flicks, like, that is a classic samurai story. Like, I'm a failure, I've lost, like, da 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 da, and, like, at the very end he, like, redeems himself, and then poof, dead, because, like, he's like, and then I can die with honor. Like, that's it. Like, that's what it's a trope, but it's gonna be a trope that a lot of people have never experienced before. So
Oh, what are your thoughts on Xenos?
Oh,
short thoughts.
All right. So I don't think it's Xenos. I do not think it's Xenos. I think it's some sort of clone or bot or something along some sort of Garlean tech that is like, just like, we saw him go and take himself out, like, which kind of, like, to be fair, his death was very, like, I've never had a friend, and I didn't know how to cope, and, like, I can call you friend, and took himself out. Now, we don't know what this one's like, if this is the same person, or, like, it's that, like, if they play him as the same person, like, it's that whole classic, like, if he is a clone, is he the same personality as the other one, and, like, could it be different? And Who knows? Maybe this one's just pure evil. This one's just gonna be like, I'm gonna destroy the hell out of you. So I don't know. I do not know. But is he the type of guy to make a clone of himself and, you know, put it up against somebody and maybe the clone was defective and went crazy? Maybe. And maybe that's the original. So
I do like the other theory in chat here is that it's Nassian. Or also Chile's Allegan plastic surgery.
it's Gaius. That'd be weird. Like they put.
I mean, someone else that they killed off that they managed to bring back somehow.
I mean, if out of all the characters I'd like to see come back, I'd like to see Gaius come back. Like, but as some,
I want that sylph.
Yeah.
Random sylph that died.
Oh yeah, that sylph, that one sylph that like, oh no.
Yeah, it was the very first. It was one of the first deaths that we had in 14. It's like the sylph died and everything was sad, and then like half a dozen other people died that you had to drag their corpses out as part of the quest line. And then from that point on, everything went downhill. Everyone kept dying.
Yeah,
all that sylph started it all.
Yeah, what happened? What happened, Square? You used to make me take out the dead bodies. Now.
Now there's too many for you to take out.
just digging in the knife. All right, let's move
when
on.
You hire the machinist to come in and just flame throw it.
Mm-hmm. Let's move on to the the Four Lords. Oh wait, you scratched that out. Tiny cute animal story.
Tiny cute animal story.
Let's talk and how angry they get. And they're like, you must quell our anger.
So we'll give some backstory on this. You have to do Hell's Lid dungeon first. So why don't we actually hit the dungeons a little bit first, because we can hit Fractal Continuum hard. I think we covered mostly last time. If there's anything else you had, Hell's Lid.
Well, I
don't have anything on either of those dungeons.
The story of Fractal was interesting. It was involved the Ixali, and one of them saying like going there to see like, hey, like, where's our magical land that we were promised? And you know, it was kind of I think that was a really cool way to like have us go back to Fractal. And I thought that it was interesting to see. I mean, maybe a lot of people didn't see it the way I did, but I saw it as this one Ixali getting like understanding like, oh shit, we were created and like everything we know is a lie. Like you're like, that's essentially saying like, oh, our god, our world, my magical home in the sky does not exist. I was created in a tube.
I think that was exactly what they were saying.
All right, but some people may not. You know, somebody be like, oh, that sucks. You just, but I thought that was really cool. Like I thought that, but like even like them saying like, you know, does it matter? No, we'll make a home wherever. Like you know, chill, bro.
Yeah, I think the message in the story that it, not so much the actual story like what happened with everything, but how they handled it at the end was really, really interesting and really, really good. With especially with how there's a lot of times people aren't comfortable talking about stuff along those lines, or they don't want to talk about that sort of thing, or don't even want to think about it. So what happens when you're faced with that situation? Well, this is probably about the best case scenario that you can get.
Yeah. And they turned it into like a little bit like a lighthearted, like entertaining thing at the very end, where it was very like I think they handled that really well. For a hard mode dungeon story, it's probably one of my favorites. Like, it's probably one of my favorites. Like I think it was handled really well. It's better than the although, you know, All Hail Lava Scorpion, I think it was better than like the Lava Scorpion storyline, where it's like, well, you got to go down there's bugs. Like,
yeah, much better.
But Hell's Lid, that was a fun dungeon, fun story. I think
that is probably one of my favorite hard mode dungeon stories so far. Like, you start off with it with Totaro being like, oh shit, Alefino spent all of our money. Here's a cool way we can make money by going to this hole in the lava. Go explore it because there's cool stuff down there. And then you get down there and there's a whole freaking city underneath there that also looks amazing. But then you get to it and you get to the whole end of the thing and there's Genbu just chilling. A giant turtle you get to fight, which is fun, and then he turns into this tiny little cute turtle that you get to talk to and do a whole other storyline.
That I've never loved anything more than talking to a bunch of little cute animal NPCs.
especially the ones that are like completely psychotic.
Yeah.
I think there was the dog or something. One of the ones I thought, I don't remember exactly which one it was. It's been a while.
The fat
but you go
cat?
and you talk to it.
Pretty sure the fat cat.
The fat cat was kind of not completely sadistic, but there was one that you go and talk to. It's like, yeah, no, I'm not like evil or crazy or anything. You might hear that I went around and like killed a whole bunch of people, and yeah, that's true. I did go and kill a whole bunch of people, but I wasn't feeling it at the time.
What was it? What was it? The little piglet that was like, I'm gonna go right up in there and go see that brick thing, which I'm gonna touch it. I'm gonna touch it. And you follow that little piglet all the way up there, and they're like, I'm gonna get in there. Let me in. No. But I wanna. No. Fine. Just boop, boop, boop,
I'll be back.
I'll be back. And then the bird in the corner, he's like, no, go away, human. Go away, creature. I don't like you.
And then the bird runs away, and then you follow the bird, and all just goes, stalker.
Stalker. Can you tell we love that? So, listen, if they made a housing ward,
time going through all the NPC dialogues down there.
If they made a housing ward where I can just live with tiny animals, I'd move the FCOs there. Be like, nobody else. I'd buy the whole. Fuck it. I'd buy a ward. I'd buy the ward out and be like, this is me and all these animals.
Yeah, I'd live down there with all of them.
See? They're so damn cute.
That was the best part of it all. But then you get to go and like the storyline for the primals or the trials this time was a little bit different. We had you defeat the dungeon, you beat it, you beat Ganwu, he turns into the cute little turtle, and then he basically asks for your help. There's these 4 lords, of which Ganwu is one of them, and they all have this whole balance that they have to kind of keep between the hateful tendencies where they want to go and kill everything and like their sanity basically. And they're kind of losing this over time, and they're trying to keep back. I can't remember what the name of the creature that's trapped in there. Do you remember?
I don't remember its name.
Okay, there's some big creature that they're.
I have a feeling we're gonna fight that thing.
I almost guarantee we're gonna fight that thing. But the storyline, as far as the storyline goes, we have the 4 lords are basically keeping this thing at bay, but 3 of them are kind of pretty weak at this point and don't have any energy to help do this anymore. So Genbu's kind of doing it on his own. So he asks us to help the other 3. And in order for that to do them, they have to go flat out crazy. So for some reason, the feral tiger that we get to talk to, Byako, turns into this giant dude with a tiger arm.
Yeah, he gets...
you get to beat him down to help him.
He rages out. He
wants you to beat him.
He rages out into his Jutsona. Just wants you to quell his rage. He's full of hate juice. And he needs you to give him a release. He needs you to just full of hate juice. You know when you're like angry and you need a release, you get one. And you're just instantly fine. He was very relaxed afterwards, is what I'm saying. Very relaxed. Very happy.
Does this have anything to do with the fact that you got to get picked up in his mouth and then rammed into the ground?
I mean, if I could count in my hand how many times I've been picked up in somebody's mouth and rammed into the ground.
He can count on his hand.
Yeah, all one of them. If I had a nickel for every time I've been rammed into the ground. Now I don't know what to name the episode. Do I call it ground ramming?
Nah, if you're going with that, you might as well go with ground pound. But
oh, hey, ground pound's a great name. I
don't know. Mario might have that one.
What about I got taken to Pound Town. Going to Pound Town. Episode 68. Going to Pound Town.
We'll think about this later.
All right.
Anyways, yeah, interesting story. I think we covered the mechanics last time. Very interesting fight. After you quell his rage, he kind of goes back to his tiger thing, and then he needs a rest for a bit. He has a refractory period. There's an episode name.
He needs 30 minutes to recoup, and he's good again. Just needs a quick smoke and an Oreo cookie. He's right back.
Once he's done, I have a feeling that we get to meet the next batch on here. And I wouldn't actually be surprised if they do a 2-for-1. Like, we know that there's 4 lords. Genbu's one of them. Byaku's the second. I wouldn't be surprised if the next trial is actually going to have the other 2 together. And then the third trial we get is that final whatever ultimate thing.
Next batch.
Yeah, I gave up. Flatus is gone.
next batch is ready in 30 minutes. Anyway.
Hey, 30 minutes or it's free.
I'm sure it would have been free regardless of 30 minutes or not. I wonder what he's like on Extreme. Taking it up a notch. Is there a safe word on Extreme or whatever this is? It says duty failed. That's the safe word. Can't wait to see the other guys. see what's going on there. I hope one of them is female.
I was gonna say the safe word's a woo, but
ooh, no. Here lies Flatus. He did nothing wrong. So yeah, all right. That's the story was fun. You know,
Feeney says safe word is Estinian. Might have butchered that sentence a little bit, but I'm gonna keep it.
No, the safe word is Estinian. No, that doesn't really bother me.
Safe's word is Estinian.
Safe's word is Estinian. That's what it is. All right, let's. We got the Eureka Live letter.
No, we have one more piece.
Holy shit! Oh, the Ananta.
You missed the Ananta.
Yeah, the Ananta. Which is still pretty. Snake. Which, oddly enough, slightly attracted to the.
Not surprised.
Don't know what it is. I think it's the weird scaly hair. I don't. I like this story. I think it's interesting that we're not building up their home or their like an area. Like, it's actually building up a military like checkpoint for us, and letting the Ananta run it. And the Ananta that we're helping, it's her mother's the one that's like, if you can't handle this, I'm kicking your ass out of here. He's like, I gotta prove it to my mom. And,
yeah. Go ahead.
And it's great. Like, I'm having fun with those. I'm invested in to see how that grows and changes, just to be like, haha, mom. Yeah,
so I think I'm a little bit further ahead in the quest line than you, but it's been really interesting to see kind of how they're progressing it and building up some parts piece by piece for this whole outpost thing. I think it's going to be really interesting once they have it completely done.
Oh, for sure.
But on that note as well, I just finished the Kojin tribe quests, in which case they decide to go and do like, what was it?
I don't know. Do they pray to the tiny little god?
I've completely forgotten the word.
Crazy? God hungry? Massive opium den?
That seems more like it's the Ananta than the Kojin.
Opium dens?
Yeah.
I mean, what's an underwater drug? Cocaine? Seaweed?
Shit, that one was bad. Gaslighting. That was the word.
420 under the ocean. Smoke weed every day.
That's true. The Vath do the opium.
That's true. The Vath are the drug dealers.
The Kojin tribes end up with some gaslighting, which I thought was really funny.
Okay. I mean, I'm always down for some gaslighting.
It makes sense afterwards, but as you're going through it, it's like,
oh no.
I mean,
All
like
right.
30 seconds before you finish the quest, but I got my majestic sea flap, so we're all good.
Yeah, I need to continue. Flap
It sucks.
acquiring. Oh, flap
It has a
sucks.
very, very strong suck.
Oh, that. Oh yeah, it's I mean, it's gotta eat. It's gotta. It's
You can fit a whole Lalafell in there.
It's krill or be killed.
Krillin?
Krillin, just straight Krillin.
He's a Lalafell. Could be like a Lalafell.
Krillin so hard. How many more underwater fucking jokes can we pull out? I mean,
nah, I got nothing.
Nothing. Well, I want to be where the people are. I mean, real quick, can I buy a dingle hopper for one of the vendors? I'm just gonna start making Little Mermaid references and see if anybody notices. Just gonna keep making them. It's just a fork that you can put into your hair. Why don't we have that? Wait a minute. You're gonna tell me we did this whole underwater bullshit and not one time did anybody think, I wonder if we could put a fork as a hair accessory, and nobody said yes. Like nobody's like Disney wouldn't have.
Did we get the seashells though?
Did we? Let's. Can I
don't think we got seashells.
Anybody? Is there any like boob cup seashells? I mean, and when we say C, we mean like the cup, not SE. God, what happened to us? We used to be a legitimate news source.
And on that note, since we are running into our time,
we used to be a legitimate news source.
We have one more interesting thing. We took we had the live letter last week, which was very interesting, very, very late. And we got to hear all about Soken and finally Eureka.
Yes. Oh boy, I am. Oh god, I am. Sorry, I clicked on something and I got surprised Nick Caged, which isn't great.
You should really not click on things randomly.
Well, that happened. Anyway, so yeah, we got to see Eureka. So a lot of the episode previously, Shin and I spent time discussing Eureka and kind of our thoughts on how it would work. So we got a little bit of confirmation, I think, on some of the things we said. Like, we knew training the zone was going to be the thing. We saw that live. Like, we saw definitely, like, it was following him into... Now, one unleashed when he got to the main city. One did not unleash. So I don't know if that was a bug, if it was supposed to unleash when you got back to a main city or not. But it seemed like it wasn't supposed to be that way. Like, it's going to kill you. Like, it's going to come into the city and go pop, 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 die.
It'll be interesting to see how it handles on when you die. Like, does it just go straight back, or like there is a lot of potential for grieving with this sort of system. So it'll be interesting to see how it's actually implemented when we get it in there.
Yeah, we did say that like we understood like it'd be interesting for them to like keep the ability to on the fly swap elements, which you can do. So, we're 2 for 2. So.
Yeah, I think the mechanics that they introduced where you have this wheel of the 6 different elements, I believe, and you can allocate your points to these 6 different elements however you kind of want. And I'm sure there's going to be ideal models that you get out there. But for now, you just assign your things to each of these 6 elements, however you want to allocate them. But then say I put 6 into the top one, I can spin the wheel and it doesn't have to be linked to the same element. So if I'm out fighting, let's say, a whole bunch of water creatures, so I have electricity to make me stronger against them, and then I come across something that's weak against electricity, I don't remember what that is off the top of my head, but I could spin my wheel while I'm out in the middle of nowhere and fight the things that are not weak. And they mentioned this on the live stream as well, that at the beginning, a lot of the creatures are very similar around the beginning area. So they'll have one section that's a lot of fire creatures, one section that's a lot of wind, etc. But as you get deeper, as you get further on, they might not be as close together.
Yeah.
So like when you start off, you might be able to put all your effort into like fire, and then you'd be really strong against, say, ice or whatever the actual system is. But as you so you won't have to actually switch your wheel a whole lot. But when you get further out, get to the more complicated, the harder areas, you might have to start figuring out how to strategically switch out which elements that you want to have active or strong at that point. Particularly because you're only limited to, I think, 5 of these swap outs before you have to wait for a regeneration cycle. And I believe it's 1 to 2 minutes for it to complete a cycle of that. Or if you go out to a town, you can automatically have everything refilled immediately.
Yeah, it's about, I
There's
think,
only 2 towns.
I think I timed it about a minute is what I timed it at. So that could always be adjusted, of course. I'm pretty sure, like, as people play through it and like they find, like, does it need to go slower if it's too fast, and vice versa if it's too speed it up. But it to me makes sense. Like, I mean, it looked dangerous. They threw in some classic armor from Final Fantasy 11, Scorpion Harness, which is a classic armor piece, which Chili was very excited for. So anybody who played 11 was like, yeah. But really, why we're there is for our weapons and our gear. I'm a little. I know some people are like, yeah, I can get the gear for my character that I got when I leveled up to 70, but this one's set's dyeable. It bums me out a little bit because I was kind of hoping like they could have put like a cool new gear set in there. I hope that the gear set's upgradable, like it changes.
Well, we don't know that if that's necessarily the only thing that we'll get out of there.
True. I hope for more. I do hope for more. We do know there's gonna be like boss fights and stuff like that. If you looked in the map, there was like some circly type arena things. I hope that's not like specifically this is where the boss will spawn. Because
actually, we do know that there's more gear coming out of there, because we know that we have the AF gear, but we also know that there's that Scorpion gear from 11.
Yeah.
So we do know that there will be other gear sets out of there. So who knows what we'll see.
Let's see. Anyway, I'd rather them not use. I'd like to see more open boss fights and stuff like that. And even like we said, we don't know everything because they didn't go into everything. We didn't see anything like a emergency mission and stuff like that. Stuff that we saw in Diadem 2.0. That would be interesting to have that pop up and go. We did say that you are going to lose levels, and they for sure had level loss screens, or was it down level or whatever it was screen, like
level down.
So it is going to be a for sure challenge to get, like, and it should be like, I think that's a cool, out of the ways we've done it in the past so far, it's been a grueling process or a like, here's this time sink, but this is a more interesting time sink.
I think it was kind of interesting too how, when you looked at the design for everything and you looked at all of it, it looks kind of different. At least the entry areas looked a lot different from what we're used to in AORCA. Like, they were able to use new environments that we didn't normally see that might not fit into this storyline or the world that we're used to right now. So I thought it was really interesting, and it looks a lot more dense. Almost, yeah, exotic. One of the things that I remember thinking when I first saw it was, this actually kind of reminds me a bit of Monster Hunter.
A little bit. A little bit. So, stop playing Monster Hunter, come play Final Fantasy 14, where you have Monster Hunter. I mean, I gotta give
this isn't
credit.
A specific call out to someone who happens to be in our FC who has been on for a long time because they've been busy painting minis and now playing Monster Hunter, but it kind of is.
Yeah. It's true. Although Monster Hunter is a very like multiplayer FC, I'm just gonna wait for PC because people I want to play with are probably just playing on PC anyway. So. I mean, even though I bought it on PlayStation, but still, I'll just take it back to GameStop, get some sort of refund, and I'll put it on Final Fantasy 15 for PC, and I'll be like, I'm gonna stream the shit out of this. Anyway, so that's pretty much it for that. I mean, we did learn a little bit about Soken and his favorite band, which is Rage Against the Machine, and I think that's dope. So I ended up listening to like a little bit of Rage that weekend. I was like, it's been a while since I listened to Rage Against the Machine. I do like Tom Morello. So listen to some Rage Against the Machine. So Soken's still one of my favorite composers. So
It was awesome.
closing thoughts. Shin, what do you think? Story, Rika.
I think 3.2 was a little underwhelming, but that's kind of understandable. They did a lot of setup. I'm really looking forward to 4.2. I'm really looking forward to 4.3.
To be fair,
it's as good as 3.3.
To be fair, 3.2 was underwhelming.
It's kind of the same pattern, setup, and now we have to 3.3 was a really, really strong patch, and I think it was one of the best ones that we had after Heaven's Word was released. So I'm really hoping that 4.3 follows this pattern and we get a really strong patch for 4.3. Really looking forward to Eureka in a few weeks. I will love to dive in there, love to see what the content is, see how they kind of balance that old school mentality with people who don't want to dedicate all of their time to gaming and be able to do it in short little manageable chunks. Kind of looking forward to what we're going to get with the next set of Triad stuff, and I really want a flying elephant. That's my closing thoughts.
I'm excited to see where the story goes. I think it's a nice. I think we got a good strong setup for the next patch. It's going to be interesting to see where they take Yotsu, Asai, Brutus, and Kusetsu, that storyline, and see where they go with it. I do like that we're kind of bouncing back between Alamigo and Doma, between these two things. I'd like to see, now that what we know and who's back and everything, I'd like to see maybe both storylines intertwine once again, like separate a little bit, but starting to come back together. Unless Xenos is there solely for Alamigan purposes, which would kind of suck. But and then they're just gonna specifically be like, Yotsuyu is Doma and Xenos is
Just gonna mess it all up and have Fordola marry off to Hien and
holy shit. God.
Serena somehow comes back.
I like Fordola. Or fire.
Anyway, before we start any more unfounded rumors.
Yeah. And then Eureka, I'm excited. I am truly excited for it because I dig it. I dig having that little bit of challenge. I think it's gonna be fun to get with the FC and get with friends and run in there and do some stuff, get some weapons, and spend some time and laugh when somebody gets a train of 87 monsters behind them and just be like, haha. So with that, I'm excited for see where things are going. Now, as you all know, we have our FC over on Gilgamesh, dominant Umbra, the Umbra FC. So you, if you don't know, you should know that we're recruiting constantly, and you should probably join because we're having fun. We're setting things up. We're getting stuff done. There's people of all sorts of levels. And tonight we got a wedding at 2 a.m. Eastern, but what is it, 11 Pacific, 2 a.m. Yeah. So yeah, there's a wedding. So if you're in the FC and you're hearing my voice, come to the wedding. 2 of our FC members are getting married, so come out, dressed to the nines. Let's go watch some people get married. But it's we've been running maps and doing things and lots of dying pony farms, everything that you could want to do with an FC, except you also get the comedy stylings of Shin and Flatus, which is probably the not selling point of the FC. And then that's pretty much it, and we really don't have anything else, so come join us, join the FC. Oh, by the way, if you've been joining our Maelstrom Radio Discord, give us a second. I'm trying to get the bot set up so it automatically gives you the thing so you can see all the channels. I'm trying to work it out so I clean up the server. Just give me a minute. If you see nothing when you get in there, don't automatically leave. This server's broken. Don't leave yet. Especially if you join at 3 o'clock in the morning when nobody's awake. Give me a minute to adjust you until I get the bot set up to automatically handle those things. I'm working on it. I have a day job. My day job isn't this. It could be if you continue to support us here on Twitch. And one day you'll all help me be here 24/7. I'll never not sleep. Anyway, speaking of finding us, Shin, where can they find us?
probably in hell. You can find us live on Twitch weekly Fridays around 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Or you can find the recorded shows usually a few days after we've recorded them on iTunes, Google Play Music, or Stitcher. If you need the links for any of those, go ahead and check out our blog at maelstromradio.com. You can email us at any time, send us your comments, questions, whatever, fan fiction, show at maelstromradio.com. You can join us on Discord. Our link is on Twitter. Our link is also on the website. Feel free to join us, chat, whatever you want. You can find us on Twitter at twitter.com/maelstrom_radio, on Facebook at facebook.com/maelstromradio, or Twitch here at this link, twitch.tv/maelstromradio.
I'd also like to say that we've been getting the podcast out regularly now since we've gotten to the new site. It's been easier for, I think, both of us. Things, it's so much easier. I get it edited, I throw it up, I make the thing, and it's up pretty streamlined. It's better than what we've had before. So if you have not seen our new website, go there. Also, I want to give a shout out to Dylan Thorne. She gave us this lovely little, when we were talking about the whole blitzball thing, I may be sportscasting as a blitzball announcer live on our channel, talking about it. We haven't agreed to anything yet. Anyway, it's she said, because I was downplaying our podcast, but she said it's actually a very good podcast. He often has Brahamet Safe on, who are also Balmung players. And then they offered up to a few episodes and gotten new people to come listen to us. So the reason why I'm saying that is that the way other people find us and the way other people listen to us is through you. So please, if you can, take a few minutes of your time. If you're on Google Play listening to this, take a few minutes to give us a rating, a thumbs up, whatever Google uses. If you're on iTunes, take a few minutes to give us a rating and leave a review for us. Good or bad, it helps us. And then take a few minutes and just share us out with somebody. You're like, hey, listen, if you're in an FC and your friends are just sitting there grinding out levels in crafting, and they're like, man, I ran through all my animes, I've got nothing to do. Here's Maelstrom Radio for you. Because with that, we can do more things. And also Dylan also gave me an idea for a haunted telephone, which I'm saving, and I'm going to talk to Shin about, because I think it's hilarious. I think it's a really good one. So if you want us to see us, do more and new fun things like haunted phone and more choose your own adventures, just hold on tight. Those things are coming. It's been a news heavy few weeks. I'm sure when things slow down, we'll dig deep into our brains and pull out something silly. So thank you so much for this. Shin, you want to say goodbye to everybody?
Bye.
All right. I'm gonna do this.
Tune in next
over
episode.
Here. Oh, you know what? I didn't do this tonight, so I'm gonna do it one more time. Let me unmute Shin real quick, and then do this.
Uh-oh.
I almost forgot to do it, because let's see. Well, I get to do it one more time next week, but
Fuck you, it's February.
I mean, it's gonna soon not be February. It's like I gotta use it while I can. All right. Let me get back over here. Let me reach in. And what? There it is. I want to thank all of you who came out live here to listen to us ramble about the story of 4.2 and our thoughts on what we saw from the Eureka Live letter, proving yet again that Shin and I are hitting about a batting average pretty good with our predictions. Next week is episode 69. Keep it in your pants, and we won't, I guess. So with that being said, as always, till sea swallows all, keep listening.
Maelstrom Radio is a production of maelstromradio.com, Blackfire Media Productions. Final Fantasy XIV and Eorzea are trademarks of Square Enix. Opening theme provided by Benjamin Anthony James. You can find more of their music over at soundcloud.com/Ben773. Our outro is provided by Sodo. You can find more of their music over at soundcloud.com/Sodo. Views and opinions expressed on this episode are those of Maelstrom Radio and their host, and do not reflect the views and opinions of Square Enix. And until C swallows all, keep listening.